The market capitalization of the coin is used to summarize all that is taught in this video. I would also like to remind you to give my channel a like and subscribe to it so that you can stay up to date on future XRP news, as well as other cryptocurrency news in general. Take a look at this now, shall we? The SEC expresses sorry for the uncertainty over crypto securities and the regulations involved. Over the past few days, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) of the United States of America has acknowledged the rising confusion that has surrounded its position on the securities of cryptocurrencies. As a consequence of years of enforcement actions and regulatory standards, which ultimately resulted in the development of this, the cryptocurrency industry was thrown into disarray. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) is still working towards the regulation of digital assets, notwithstanding the difficulties described above. The agency draws attention to the difficulties that market players find themselves confronted with when attempting to determine the uncertainties that are associated with the definition of a security. There has been some debate on the effectiveness of the technology that the Securities and Exchange Commission has developed regarding cryptocurrencies. In spite of the fact that some of the digital assets are categorized as commodities, others are considered to be securities. This distinguishing characteristic makes it more challenging for many crypto ventures to work properly. In the absence of clear international criteria on how to differentiate between these groups, a number of lawsuits have been brought, and there has been a tidal wave of confusion in the market. This is all due to the fact that there is no clear international criterion. In its most recent statement, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) expressed that it comprehends the confusion that has been brought to the industry and expresses its regret for the situation. The government body stated that it was eager to ensure that investors were safeguarded while also supporting innovation all across the world. For the purpose of determining whether or not a cryptocurrency asset is a security, what exactly is the Howey test, and how does it assist in the identification of cryptocurrency securities? A legal ruling that was made in 1946 is known as the Howey test, and it is regularly relied upon by the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). The function of the examination is to ascertain whether or not there is a chance of putting a financial stake at risk in order to acquire advantages through the efforts of other individuals. It is possible for an asset to be regarded as security if it is able to satisfy these specified standards. Although the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has relied on this test as the principal one regarding the categorization of securities, there are various issues with its application in the case of decentralized and actively developing cryptocurrencies. These issues include the fact that the SEC has relied on this test. As a consequence of the fact that the Howey test was created within the context of a conventional financial environment, there are a lot of obstacles that must be overcome before the Bitcoin sector can use this test. Is the Ripple case at a point where we must make a decision? In the realm of cryptocurrencies that are currently being litigated, the Ripple case is one of the most drawn-out and frequently reported judicial procedures that is currently available. In the last, but certainly not least, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) launched a complaint against Ripple Labs Inc., claiming that XRP was a securities that had not been registered in the appropriate manner. Additionally, despite the fact that Ripple continues to maintain that XRP is a currency that should not be subject to the laws that govern securities investments, this case has the potential to have a significant impact on other cryptocurrency marketplaces that are more widespread. This is due to the fact that the outcome of this case may have an authoritative effect on the law in terms of how other types of digital currencies are going to be classified. The case has put light on the fact that in addition to all other cryptocurrencies that are currently operating in the United States of America, it requires a large amount of time to be spent in the judicial system. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has been subjected to a number of accusations, one of the most notable of which is that it focuses on enforcing specific projects rather than creating and providing universal regulations and standards that may be regarded applicable to the entire cryptocurrency business. According to their argument, the practice of enforcing rules through litigation leads to behavior that is unpredictable and stifles progress. Because it would appear that the Securities and Exchange Commission sublay has made work towards resolving the issue of identifying crypto securities, regulatory clarity is important. This is evidenced by their most recent statement, which indicates that they have made any progress at all. The agency has declared that it would be open to engaging market participants in order to work out more transparent rules, despite the fact that it has committed to continue with the enforcements. Additionally, more and more people are speaking out in favor of regulation, and their voices are becoming increasingly louder. Legislative bodies are making demands for the elusive framework that is necessary for the United States to maintain its position at the forefront of the Bitcoin business. There are a number of new bills that have been introduced in Congress with the intention of providing additional clarity regarding the definition of a crypto asset. For financial assets that are categorized as crypto assets, these new bills would prescribe a new sort of regulation that would pertain to those assets. Commissioner Gary Gensler, who serves as the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, has shown particular concern on the protection of investors in the world of virtual reality. One of the most important people in charge of overseeing the securities markets in the United States is Gensler. He has expounded on the notion that a large number of digital assets might be considered to exhibit features of securities and have to be regulated in the same manner as securities. He has stated that this is the case. Gensler has, however, admitted that the obstacle that presents the greatest challenge is determining how to properly implement the laws that are currently in place. regarding an industry that is constantly undergoing new developments and growing at a rapid pace. The legal battle that has been going on between the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) and Ripple was discussed by John Detton, a well-known attorney who had previously represented 75,000 XRP holders, during a conversation that took place on the Threat Warrior Academy YouTube channel. According to Detton, the complaint that was filed by the SEC was a move that had never been seen before in the field of securities law during the course of 75 years. The cryptocurrency industry as a whole, as well as investors in XRP, should be affected by this. The analysis of the acts taken by CKs that was conducted by Detton. The decision of the Securities and Exchange Commission to classify XRP as a security was met with significant dissatisfaction from John Detton, who described it as an outrageous overreach before expressing his great disdain. Detton argued in his argument that the actions taken by in particular on relatively tiny investors who experienced a loss of billions of dollars in the market after the revelation of the case were the cause of the situation. Detton asserts that the actions done by the SEC resulted in a loss of $15 billion in value for XRP, which in turn caused a tremendous degree of harm to a large number of retail investors. This was a consequence of the actions made by the SEC. The case, which was filed at the end of the year 2020, resulted in the removal of XRP from currency exchanges, which turned the scenario into one that was even more challenging for token owners. Ripple was finally successful in obtaining a favorable verdict since the court decided that XRP itself was not a security. This was despite the fact that the company had to contend with a number of obstacles. Despite this, the war has had an effect not only on Ripple but also on the cryptocurrency market as a whole for the entire duration of the crisis. Detton was made aware of the fact that the litigation would have a substantial impact on Ripple and its investors financially, both in terms of the amount of money involved and the amount of money that would be required for legal fees. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, Ripple did not back down when it was challenged with multiple attempts to dispute the agency and get the phrase that defines XRP as a securities removed. As a result, Ripple was forced to incur legal fees that topped $100 million. The viewpoint that Detton fought for was that holders of XRP should be compensated for the damages that they have incurred as a result of the actions that have been taken by the SEC. The attorney also stated that the action was more about the Securities and Exchange Commission exerting its bureaucratic power than it was about protecting investors. This was the attorney's interpretation of the situation. He pushed for enhanced accountability within the regulatory body and suggested that restitution ought to be taken into consideration for the investors who were disproportionately damaged. He also stated that the investors should be compensated for their losses. The material that has been provided during Doge 24 is not intended to be used as trading advice in any way. In the event that any investments are made on the basis of the information that is provided on this page, there is no responsibility for those investments. Prior to making any choice on investments, we strongly recommend performing independent research and talking with a professional who is educated in the field.